In today's video, you will discover why so many people quietly warn others not to look into a mirror at 3 a.m. Not because something will jump out at you, not because of a ghostly legend whispered in villages, but because at that hour, in that silence, your reflection may begin to feel less like you and more like something studying you. There is a reason 3 a.m. feels different. It is not mystical, it is biological. Around that time, your body reaches one of its lowest physiological points. Your temperature drops, your heart rate slows, your mind floats between dreaming and waking. The world outside is still, even the city seems to pause. And in that pause, your awareness sharpens in strange ways. When everything external becomes quiet, internal noise grows louder. You notice the ticking of a clock you never heard before, the faint hum of electricity inside the walls. Your own breathing sounds foreign. And if you happen to pass by a mirror during that hour, something subtle shifts. During the day, mirrors are harmless, functional. You glance at them without thought. They confirm your identity in seconds. This is my face. These are my eyes. Everything aligns. But at 3 a.m., alignment feels fragile. Dim lighting stretches shadows across your features. Your pupils widen. Contrast deepens. The smallest asymmetry in your face becomes exaggerated. You lean closer, maybe out of curiosity, maybe to reassure yourself that nothing is wrong. And that is when the experiment begins. There is a well-documented psychological effect in which prolonged eye contact with your own reflection, especially in low light, causes distortions. Faces appear to melt, shift, age, or subtly transform. The brain, deprived of stable visual cues, begins to fill in missing data. It guesses, it projects. Normally, you would laugh it off, but not at 3 a.m. At that hour, your mind is suggestible, slightly detached from logical grounding. And when you stare into your own eyes without blinking, something ancient activates inside you. Humans are not designed to maintain prolonged, unbroken eye contact. It signals challenge, threat, dominance. When the gaze is your own, the conflict becomes internal. You may notice your expression changing even though you are trying to keep it neutral. A tension in your jaw, a narrowing of your eyes. The reflection appears more focused than you feel, more alert, as if it has a clarity that you lack. You blink. For a fraction of a second, you feel uncertain. Did it blink at the exact same time? The movement was synchronized, probably, but the doubt lingers, and doubt is enough to destabilize perception. Your brain is extraordinarily sensitive to timing. Even a tiny perceived delay between your movement and the reflection's response can create a powerful sense of wrongness. It doesn't have to be real, it only has to feel real. Now your body reacts, a slight tightening in your chest, a quiet warning signal deep in your nervous system. You test it, slowly raise your hand. The reflection follows perfectly. Tilt your head. Perfect synchronization. Everything behaves exactly as physics dictates. And yet, something feels off. Because the longer you stare, the more your reflection begins to feel separate from you. It is a paradox of self-awareness. When you look at yourself long enough, your brain starts to categorize the face as other. The reflection becomes a second presence occupying the same space. You know logically it is you, but your subconscious treats it like someone else maintaining eye contact. And eye contact, sustained in silence at 3 a.m., becomes unbearable. The room behind you in the mirror looks darker than the room you can physically turn around to see. The angles feel slightly different. Depth seems exaggerated. The mirror reveals blind spots you cannot monitor without breaking the gaze.
And this is where the fear quietly evolves. It is no longer about seeing something behind you. It is about the possibility that the reflection might see something you cannot. The thought is irrational, but once introduced, it cannot be easily removed. Your breathing grows shallow, the air feels heavier, you become hyper-aware of micro-expressions crossing your face, a twitch, a flicker of emotion. For a split second, you think you see a hint of a smile forming on the reflection's lips. Not wide, not dramatic, just subtle, almost analytical. You immediately adjust your face, neutral again. The reflection matches you, but now you are no longer certain which expression came first. Sleep researchers often describe the brain at this hour as being in a transitional state, part dream, part waking consciousness. In dreams, your identity can shift without resistance. You can become someone else. Your surroundings can transform seamlessly. At 3 a.m., that dream logic leaks slightly into reality. The boundaries soften, and when you stare into a mirror in that softened state, the stability of self becomes negotiable. Some people who have tried this deliberately describe a strange sensation after stepping away. Not relief, not fear exactly, something more subtle. A feeling that the reflection is still there, not physically, not independently moving, but existing, as if the version of you in the mirror continues in some suspended awareness, replaying the moment you shared. You shake your head, dismissing the thought. It's just imagination, just neurology, just lighting conditions. But later, lying back in bed, you may recall a detail that unsettles you. Did your reflection's eyes look slightly more awake than yours? Did it seem less tired? Did it appear to be studying you rather than simply copying you? The human brain is built to detect agency, the presence of another mind, even when none exists. This ability keeps us alive in uncertain environments. We assume something might be watching before we confirm it isn't. At 3 a.m., standing in front of a mirror, that ancient survival mechanism activates in the worst possible way, because the only other present exists exactly like you. And perhaps that is the deepest discomfort of all. You expect monsters to look different. You expect danger to announce itself, but a threat that shares your face, your posture, your blinking rhythm, that is harder to process. Over time, a simple experiment becomes a memory you can't fully trust. You begin replaying it in your mind. Was there a delay? Was there a change in expression? Did the lighting shift, or did the reflection lean forward slightly before you did? The more you analyze, the more you become uncertain, and uncertainty erodes reality. That is why the warning persists. Do not look into a mirror at 3 a.m., not because something supernatural will appear, but because you may confront how fragile your perception truly is. You may discover that identity is not as fixed as you believed, that your sense of self depends heavily on stable lighting, stable timing, stable consciousness. Remove those conditions, and the self flickers. So if you wake tonight and instinctively check the time glowing on your screen and it reads 3 a.m. and you feel that quiet urge to walk to the bathroom, to stand in darkness, to hold your own gaze just to prove nothing can happen, remember this: the mirror will not show you anything impossible. It will only show you how easily your mind can separate you from yourself. And if for even a single heartbeat your reflection feels more awake than you are, you may never feel completely alone in a room with a mirror again. Subscribe for more psychological documentaries.